do not know when it's going to end. My hope would be that common sense and leadership and compromise solves the problem. I don't think we should be here in the first place, and we'll do what my job is to try to lead to find a way to get a solution.
Senator, what at this point in this struggle, what do you think the fight really is about it now?
Well, I think the fight's still about the aspects of the Affordable Care Act that don't work, that are actually going to be damaging to the average American in spite of what everybody says. The fight's about what's going to be the cost to our kids. You know, this is a $7 trillion, if you take conservative estimates, unfunded liability for them. It's probably going to be double that. So I think that's what it's about. It's also about a fight over the heart and soul of the future of our country. Are we going to continue to spend money that we don't have on things we don't need? Are we going to implement a big bill and do it in a way that I would think is probably extra constitutional in terms of some of the things the President has done? I think those are important things for us to continue to have discussions over.
I would actually tell them we do have that call, and I have taken some of those calls. First thing I tell them is we were working on that constantly. Obviously, we put out a proposal that we thought was very reasonable to just say members of Congress and the White House should also have to be on Obamacare if everyone else is, and that people should have a one-year delay on the penalties, just the penalty side of this, to make sure that we can protect as many people as possible from all this stuff in this first year. So we felt like that was reasonable. Hopefully we can get to a conference with the Senate to be able to resolve it. The other thing that we did, even before this came down, is we voted to be able to do armed services, all the civilians that serve with them, and I do mean all the civilians, including contractors and civilians, would be exempt from this. We're right now in a back and forth with the Department of Defense and the Pentagon that is interpreting this extremely narrowly. When you actually see the law was written very broad. There should be no one at Tinker that is on furlough right now. There should be no one in DOD or a contractor that's furloughed right now, because the law was very plain and clear and broad that it affects all of those folks, even duly connected National Guard as well. They all should be included in this and be back at work. Then we're taking it as many as we can. We're doing 5 this afternoon, trying to take different groups and agencies to be able to get them back to work, things that we can find agreement on. Our focus has been, there are lots of areas that we agree, let's get back to work. Let's get all those back to work where we have common agreement. Let's do it now and do it as quick as we can so those individuals can be back at work and this not be a distraction to them and their families.
Congressman, if one of your constituents asked you how long you thought this was going to last, what would you tell them?
That's the great unknown right now. We're in day 2 of this. In the Reagan administration, when Tip O'Neill closed down the government, it was a Democrat as the Speaker of the House and a Republican as President. I think the longest they had was 3 days. During that time, there was obviously a very long one during the Clinton administration of 21 days. This one's already in its 2nd day. Our hope is that we can get some kind of conversation. The President is meeting with the leaders of the House and the Senate. That's good to start the conversation on that. We're pleased the President wants to engage in some sort of conversation. I hope it's serious negotiations that we can resolve. So we've got to get face to face. And the problem is everybody's political posturing right now on television rather than actually meeting face to face between the House and the Senate and the White House. So hopefully we can get this all worked out and resolved quickly.